Hello and welcome to another episode of the People's Rose. I'm Jared.
And I'm Brooke.
And we are your hosts for the People's Rose. We are a married couple that loves to watch, talk, think, sleep, drink reality TV. And we're really excited to talk about it with you who are listening. Thank you for listening today.
Welcome.
And we watch all kinds of reality TV, everything from The Bachelor to Big Brother to TLC reality shows, which Brooke is going to deep dive with us today, and Brooke's Buzz, and just anything and everything in between. But before we get to Brooke's Buzz, before we get to the other reality shows that we watch, we have to immediately, right away, recap this week of Big Brother. Big Brother, which for all who don't know is a reality competition show on CBS where a bunch of people live in a house together and they basically vote each other out each week, see who's going to make it to the end, win $750,000. This is the 25th season of Big Brother. We're so excited for it. We had another crazy week, which is looking to set up an even crazier week next week. We're going to recap the whole week, but let's just dive right into it. Brooke, how do you feel? Where do you stand on the last remaining Chillbilly, Cameron, being our new HOH this week? They showed the live HOH on the episode. We already know. We've got the instant reaction. Let's just get straight to it before I recap. What's your thoughts?
I mean, I'm speechless. I'm shocked. I'm jaw dropped.
Yeah.
Just as all the other house guests were.
Oh my
when
gosh.
Julie said, because they couldn't see, there was like a little bit of a partition. So when Julie said, congrats to the new HOH,
right.
Cameron, they all were literally jaw dropped, looking at each other like, oh crap, we messed up.
Yeah.
We really messed up.
Yeah.
And, I'm really hoping for purely for entertainment purposes, I am hoping for some block drama. Like I want an Izzy and Sari on the block.
Listen, this week is going to be crazy. There's going to be paranoia. They're going to be throwing each other under the bus. Cameron is going to be on a mission to avenge Red and figure out who betrayed him, which is half the house at this point.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what happens when you keep people completely in the block.
Yeah.
In the dark. Everyone hates unanimous votes, but that happens when you cover your bases and let everyone in on the plan,
right.
At least with some. To completely blindside Cam and give him the opportunity to win HOH, this is the risk you play.
Yep.
This is the risky play.
I'm not even gonna lie. When Julie said Red was evicted, the look on Cameron's face, just like the defeat and the sadness,
was juicy.
I felt bad. But that happens every time. Even when Heisem left, I felt a little bit bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel, I don't know.
Listen, yeah, this is what the game is about, though. These blind sides, these house guests going a week feeling one way and then immediately finding out, oh snap, the house is a whole different way than I anticipated.
I feel like it has been a while since we saw this much flip-flopping, this much day-to-day.
It's been a lot of internal flip-flopping, but then not really anything happened. Things didn't really start happening until last week because of the special power to save Jag. And then Jag got saved again this week with this flip. So, yeah. But you're right. It's been so taxing having to because, okay, we have everyone does. They're free on Pluto TV. You're welcome, CBS. Sign up for Pluto TV for free. Watch Big Brother. You don't even have to sign up. You just show up and watch.
Right.
Anyways, we watch the live feeds. And even though we watch, every single time we turn them off and go away to live life, you turn them back on and it's a whole new target, all new fake alliances, all new drama. And you want that to be happening, but for it to happen every hour on the hour is just, okay, guys, it's getting mentally tiring.
Right. like, I don't know how they're not exhausted.
Well, I'm sure they are, but that just leads to more paranoia.
Yeah.
But, this week is going to have, I think, some actual ground shaking.
Yeah.
Like, truly matters flip-flopping gameplay.
Yeah.
It's just, this is like, we got the feeds up right now. We're waiting to see when they turn on after the West Coast episode airs, hopefully. But it's just one of those weeks. I think it's going to be one of those weeks where everyone doesn't really know where they stand because no one really stands with anyone and everyone stands with everyone.
Yeah.
And now there's a HOH who's a wild card. He might seek to mend relations or he might go scorched earth.
Yeah.
So we will see.
I mean, he doesn't really have anybody else except for Bowie Jane.
And he doesn't have Bowie Jane. It's just Bowie Jane was equally clueless.
Right. So it's like, what option does he have? Him against the house or go back and say, oh, let's work together again for like the third time?
He's going to have to work with someone. If he's smart, he builds a coalition to get out Sari, Izzy, or Felicia.
Yeah.
And try to be king of the remainder. But he's also shown he's a competition beast.
Yeah.
This is his, I forget, maybe his fourth comp win.
Yeah.
He's been on the block 3 times and hasn't yet to go home with veto wins as well to save himself.
Yeah.
He needed an HOH win. He got that. He needed another HOH win to avenge Red. He got that. He won the pressure cooker comp.
Mm-hmm. He's
won legendary vetoes. And now he's HOH again.
I mean, I know that he's said some things that really creeped out America and made her very uncomfortable.
Oh man.
But
right.
She is also team get Sari, Felicia, and Izzy broken up.
That's another thing. Okay, we're going to address that. But yeah, he's just said creepy things since the show started.
We have some
with the
problematic
Riley stuff.
Men in this house.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Problematic.
I almost dropped my phone when I heard that Matt had quoted
oh gosh.
What's his face?
I knew you were gonna be so upset about that.
What's that guy? But anyways, what we want, Andrew Tate.
Yeah, Andrew.
I was like, oh, here we go. But yeah, he's in charge now, and so we'll talk a little bit more at the end. But let's actually recap this week. It was an interesting week. It started out last week. We didn't see it on the show, but afterwards, when the feeds came on, we found out that Jared was the HOH.
Mm-hmm.
And I think immediately everyone online was like, oh no, Jared and Blue in the HOH room are insufferable. But turns out they actually didn't show them that much.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I it's not like I'm up in the middle of the night anyway, but from what I heard in the recaps, people are like, oh yeah, we haven't got much of them together in the HOH room, which thank you. They call him Button Boy, the guy who controls the feeds.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But
I'm sure it's not one guy.
Felicia calls him Mr. Big.
Right.
I think that's so funny.
But whoever's in charge of,
the cameras.
Right.
Yeah.
So thank you, Button Boy, for not making that a thing. But Jared becomes HOH, and it's immediately, okay, what is he going to do? It was kind of interesting because Jared and Sari are both in pseudo alliances on both sides of the house. Mm-hmm. So it's who are they going to go? And they target Cameron Red. As I said, the Chillbillies.
The Chillbillies.
The Chillbillies, Red and Cameron, up on the block. And now they have to go each other. And we saw he kind of orchestrated it in an interesting way. He told Cameron, hey, I'm going to put Red up. And Cameron was like, as you doing, big brother? Didn't say, no, don't do that. You know what I mean? He said, oh, I don't want to do that, but I'm a team player. And then he told him to be a pawn. He said, I don't want to do it, but if we have to get him out, let me know. Because you're fighting for your life. And so he then took that information, told Red, hey, Cameron said he was okay. It's just classic. He said, she said, now you do thing in Big Brother that they do. Mm-hmm. And so he nominated Red and Cameron, and they're on the block. So when we saw Red confront Cameron about this, was actually kind of a like, I don't want to say because I didn't actually care.
Very intense.
It was intense for sure. Red was, I think we're going to have to put the Chillbillies on ice.
Yeah. And Cameron was just kind of like, what did I do? What are you talking about?
Red felt deeply betrayed, even up to the point where, spoiler alert, he went home because he was voted out, which you already knew. We talked about it. He just didn't really have a clue what was going on. Yeah. He thought Cameron betrayed him. He thought Felicia betrayed him. She was actually trying to keep him in the house. Yeah. He was, he knew to be suspicious, like I said, but just not with the right people. I think it's best for him to go back to it does go
I
back
think
home.
he wasn't really. Yeah, I don't know that he was really in the game.
He kind of was, but he was just kind of turned around.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they broke up, quote unquote, as Cameron put it, in the hot tub, and so now this is what you want, Red or what the house wanted. Cameron and Red separated, and so now they're thinking, okay, one of these guys goes home. Even if one wins vetoes, we send one of them home. We have Cameron and Red broken up, and we don't have to deal with those two joining up and teaming up against people.
Yeah, you're saying that was the original
That was the original plan. So we saw that kind of happening Sunday and, throughout the week, or that's when the episode airs on Sunday. But anyways, throughout the week that happened. Then we came to the veto, and let's talk about this. In preparation for the veto, they wanted to win so they could either keep the noms the same or keep the person who they wanted out to actually get that person out. And Jared, who is, I think he's submitting himself as one of the worst Big Brother players of all time. And talking to Corey, oh my gosh. Corey thinks that Jared is his number one.
Oh my, that was so disappointing. I'm so confused as to why he thinks that's a good idea. Especially because he's had conversations with Jared and he's said to like America, the player, and then even in his diary rooms that Jared is problematic with the way he speaks and the things he says and
paranoid too.
Right. So then to say that he's his number one?
He even said Jared is a guy I can come to with ideas and he can tell me if I'm on the right track. And you're like, oh no.
Poor.
Then you're on the wrong track, Corey.
Yeah, Corey.
Long story short, Corey is telling him, I got America, because they got the AmeriCorey showmance coming. More on that in Showmance Watch later. But yeah, Jared, before the veto, I forget exactly how it went down, has convinced himself, this is before they even pick veto or that she might be a player, that not only is America throwing competitions, that she plans to throw this competition, and that if she throws this competition, he'll put her up and try to get her sent home. And he didn't say it as calmly as that, as you saw in the episode or on the feeds. He was livid. He was like, man, if she does this, she's out of here. I don't trust her. I don't trust her.
It was something. Did someone tell him that she was coming after him?
Yeah, Corey did say that after him, America will put up one of Cirie, Felicia, or Izzy.
Yes.
Corey is kind of dumb to not realize how close Jared is. Even if you don't know that that's her son, you should at least kind of hedge to see just how close he was to those three.
Yeah.
But anyways, he didn't. And of course, Corey thinking like, okay, America can't be trusted if she's going after my mom and company and she's throwing comps. If she throws this comp and putting her up.
Yeah.
And he goes off on Corey, which Corey then has to take that to America. And we're still Team America over here. We're rooting for that Texas connection, that superfan connection. I think she handled it. She said, no, I'm going to go out and fight and prove to these people I'm not throwing comps. But also, who cares if you're throwing comps?
Yeah.
If it doesn't get in the way of things.
Strategy.
But also, like, okay, let's actually go through it. I think America has done better than in just about every single comp except the one HOH that Jared's won. America lasted 14 hours on the pressure cooker. Jared fell off in 30 minutes. You know what I mean? If anyone's throwing comps, it's Jared.
Yeah.
He just happens to have a HOH win, which obviously is important. So, but she does get picked to play in the veto, but it's that little miniature stacking veto, and Cameron ends up winning. Oh my
gosh, this has become a staple over the past couple of years.
It has. I think it's because it's so easy to set up.
So hard.
Oh yeah. For sure.
But we were laughing because Jared was saying, I have muffin fingers. And we were like, what is that? And then Cirie gets in the diary room. Jared has had muffin fingers since he was a kid. And we're like, well, okay,
is that a regional thing?
This must be like a family thing. Something they say in their family.
If you listen to the show, I'm just, on off chance, some random person is listening to this show and you live in the Northeast or New England, let us know if muffin fingers is a common term, because we've never heard that here down in Texas. You know what I mean? Maybe you got corn dogs for fingers.
Ew,
maybe you got, you know what I'm saying, Slovacek sausages for fingers, but I've never heard muffins. Okay. So yeah, this also was a good time. They showed everyone's braided hair, and if you're wondering why Matt looked like Vanilla Ice or Red had his hair braided, it's because Sari braided everyone's who won its hair in the house, and that was pretty cool to see that on the show. Another thing that we got to see on the show is Red's birthday. And so we saw everyone walk around with little party hats on the live show on Thursday, which was really goofy and silly. But it's always cool to see that from the live feeds. Okay, Cameron wins. Jared has muffin hands. They have to change. They have to change their strategy up. Seeing them kind of walk through what they were going to do, they kind of land on, hey, maybe we put Jag up because if he's smart at all, which obviously, like, Jag, they voted you out 12-0 last week. Everyone backstabbed you. He should have a plan to not trust those people.
Right.
So they're thinking smarter than Jag is even thinking and saying, okay, maybe we need to put Jag up as a liability so we can decide to vote him out if we need to, because he might just turn on us. But how do you bring that up, you know? How do you bring that up to Jag? You have to tell him, hey, I know we voted you out and you just got saved, but we only want to use you as a pawn this week. How do you broach that up? And broach that subject, bring that up. And I was wondering how they're going to do that, but they didn't need to. Mm-mm. Because Blue, inexplicably and unprompted, volunteered, at least that's how it looked on the show. I didn't actually see this moment on the feeds, volunteered to put Jag up. She said, maybe it makes sense to put you up so people don't think we're working together. And it's just, I just seeing Sari and Felicia just all going like, oh yeah, sure, that works for us. When that was the plan they were going to try to push anyway.
Right.
It's just like, what are you people doing?
Right.
In general, if I was in the house, which Lord willing, I will be one day, watch out. You just don't be a pawn. Don't do it.
And Blue was talking about how Jag is her best friend in the house. She trusts him more than she trusts Jared. And it's like, then don't do that to your best friend.
Yeah. What were you saying about Blue? She's talks a big game.
Yeah.
But she's not really actually backing it up. She's doing really dumb moves.
Not at all.
She has information and leverage on Jared, but she's not using it.
In her diaries room, she acts like she's very like, I know what's going on, and I'm playing a good game, and I'm not, but then when you see what she's doing just day to day, you're like, no, you're just here having a good time.
Right.
Exposure.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was disappointing. It was just really disappointing from her. I think I remember in preparation, like one of the pre-episodes before this season, I thought I was hopeful for her because she was a brand manager and maybe but she's not really giving me anything that lends me to believe she's going to be successful long term. So at this point, it was, par for the course. Flip flops, between Jag, Red, Jag. And
well, I think we need to pause for a second.
Go ahead.
And kind of lay it out with these two big alliances that are all fake.
They're both equally fake as much as they're both equally real.
Yeah. So we have the 7 deadly sins, and then we have what is it?
Legend 25.
Legend 25, which both of those names are ridiculous.
Horrible.
Okay.
And like the history of Big Brother names, those are both in the bottom.
Yeah. Basically, 7 deadly sins has Jag, Corey in America? Are Corey in America in that one?
I believe Jag, Corey, America, Blue. Sari, Izzy, and Felicia. That doesn't make sense.
No, Corey and America aren't in it.
So it's Jag, Blue, Felicia, Sari, Izzy, Jared. We were missing one. Matt. That's 7 deadly sins. It's basically the shell of what the handful was, minus Cameron, plus Sari, Izzy, and Felicia.
Okay. So that's that's when the 7 deadly sins decided they would put Jag up as a quote-unquote pawn and cover.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But then we have Legend 25, which is minus Blue and
Yeah, so here's how it's happened.
Jag.
From what we can understand, the handful, right, which includes Cameron, they leave. And then Cameron drifts off. Riley leaves. What happens is that leaves Jag, Blue, and Matt kind of floating out there, right?
Yeah.
Matt gets told by Riley to trust Sari, which pulls her. Sari pulls Matt closer to her, which pulls Jag and Blue closer to her.
Sure.
Now they've got this alliance with them kind of together. So that's the remnants of the handful is now tied to Sari and Felicia.
Right.
Then you got the professors who got rid of Hisam.
Oh, forget the professors.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. They got rid of Hisam, replaced him with replaced Hisam with Cameron, and kind of started Legend 25.
Okay.
So the two power alliances at the beginning of the season, Handful and Professor, right, have both dissipated. There was a head of the snake on the Handful that was Riley. They got rid of her. Sari got rid of her. There was the trying to be the head of the snake of the Professors. Sari got rid of him. And Sari, Felicia, and Izzy have replaced that power structure of both of those like vestiges of the alliances, and now they control both the remnants of the Handful, which is now 7 Deadly Stands, and the remnants of the Professor, which is now Legend 25. So that's what's going on.
Okay, that was a solid breakdown. So then we have Legend 25 meeting up, getting together, and they're telling Cameron and Red, okay, we're back in this. Let's get back together. Let's take out Jag since he's now on the block with you, Red, and let's do that, right?
Right.
Well, then, and that seemed to be the way they were gonna go.
Right.
Well, then they after this meeting, they all kind of saw Cameron and Red together, and they were like, "Oh, wait."
Right, and also Red said to Jared he wanted to reconcile with Red.
Yeah.
With Cameron.
Right, and so they were like, oh, wait, they're gonna get back together and be a power duo. Which, duh, y'all really thought they were gonna be done for the whole season?
Right,
Come on.
Right.
So, once they started changing their tune on that, then they now decided to keep Jag.
Right. Okay,
So it's like both alliances are fake and real at the same time.
Right,
like,
because
they don't know.
They're both, it's like, man, it's not like Schrodinger's cat, but it's like, these is the realness, the real true veracity of these alliances all rest on the whims of Felicia, Izzy, and Sari. Izzy's kind of less into decisive making. Felicia doesn't have as much pull as Sari.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's on who Sari decides is the real alliance at any point given time.
That's true. And they're not, what was I gonna say?
We're losing Brooke.
Forget it. I lost it.
So yeah, that's what's going on. At the end of the day, Sari decides that, hey, I trust Jag more than I would trust the potential Chillbillies. They don't know that they're named the Chillbillies.
Right.
But Cameron and Red grouping up. So she decides to send home Red, rallies the troop, but decides to not tell Felicia McCall until right before the eviction, and to not tell Cameron Bowie at all, and they're blindsided. Which is why Cameron is so out of the loop and upset about the outcome of this week. I honestly think if they told him, he would have been upset and probably still wanted revenge, but he would have felt, okay, I'm included in the decision making.
Yeah, they kind of, the three girls kind of backed themselves into a corner.
They did, and they didn't handle it right.
Yeah, because it was like, at this point, you're exactly right. If they would have just gone to Cameron, he probably would have been like, okay, but I'm going to give Red a pity vote. And that would have been better than what the position they're in now.
What they honestly could have done is, And this would have only worked for one of them. But if all three wanted to do this, they still could have done it, but it wouldn't have been believable because they would have had the votes.
Yeah.
One of them, if they wanted to secure their place with Cameron, could have said, listen, heads up. I think things are shifting because people are not trusting that you and Cam wouldn't team up as a duo again and go after people, right? And they would rather see y'all broken up, kind of like people tried to break up showmances. Mm-hmm. So I just a heads up. I don't know, but there's a chance there are people trying to get Red out of here. And then at least Cameron, when it happens, it's like, okay, well, at least Brooke came up and told me the truth. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Okay, so that's the recap. Let's just run down through the episode real quick. We had Julie in her jeans this week.
My gosh,
you think,
Julie
Brooke?
was in jeans. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. I didn't really like the hair. Her jewelry was a little better. Her top, I kind of liked, but I thought they could have done better. The jeans and the shoes looked good, though, I thought.
I typically don't weigh in on this, but I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10 this week, and
What?
here's why. She went to the Beyonce concert this week and had a very, themed outfit or stuck with the theme of silver for that. Uh-huh. When you go to the Beyonce show and post it, you can't upstage that with another outfit.
Oh my god!
You have to give Beyonce show the respect it deserves. And so since she did that appropriately, I'm going to say she knew what she was doing.
Okay.
We're just never going to do this at the beginning of a segment again. At the beginning of the Big Brother segment again, but we'll talk about our alliance at the end. Yeah, it makes more sense at the end. And so we talked about all the things we saw in the episode. When the live eviction comes, we get a shirtless Red talking about, actually it was a short and sweet nomination speech. Then Jag gets up and says his piece, comments on making a steak for, Mimi McCall. And so it ends up, at one point we thought it might be 6-4, but apparently they told Mimi, McCall, and Felicia, so it ends up being 8-2. Cameron is clearly shocked when Red goes home. Bowie, I don't even know if Bowie knew that this was an episode of Big Brother tonight. She claimed in her goodbye message to Red she was going to avenge him, and that she really just kind of seems lost. Yeah. And I know she's a barrister. She's an accomplished woman. She's done a lot. She's done a variety of things. She's very talented. But on the show, she's very boring. I forget she's there. Yeah. And she just kind of just doesn't even, I just don't even know. I don't like Bowie. Give me something, please. Yeah. Bowie, please. Yeah. So they showed her, and I'm not gonna say she looked surprised. She just looked like Bowie Jane. Red comes out. He talks to Julie. Julie's like, "Hey, what'd you think was going on?" He had no clue. No clue. And that kind of just sums up his game. He knew to be suspicious was wrong people. Mm-hmm. Then we saw Cam win HOH, right?
We did.
I think that was it for the episode. It was really good in the sense that things are just starting to get shooken up now. Oh, when Red found out that Jared and Suri were son and mother, he just said, "Oh, that's cool." No one has been like, "What?" They've kind of done that. No. But I guess, what are you going to say? Like, "Oh, that's interesting."
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a lot to process, I think, in the immediate. I think so, too. So you're just like, "Oh, wow, that's crazy."
Right. But nobody's even said that.
Yeah.
Nobody's even said that. If someone said that, I would think.
Heisem literally said, "I hope they win."
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, cool."
Yeah, so I almost am like, it's like, no, it worked. I mean, it's fine. I just know I don't think we're ever going to get that payoff of someone being like, "What? Yeah. I'm never talking. I'm so mad."
We might have gotten it from Izzy if she didn't already know.
But she knows.
Yeah.
Felicia might. But no, even Felicia would be like, "What? Okay." You know what I mean?
She would be like, "I knew something was up."
And Cameron,
I could see her
Cameron already thinks something's up with Felicia and Denzel Washington. So he'll just be like, "Oh, that's weird, but I knew something was up with them."
He'll be like, "Oh, are you sure?" I think Felicia might be related to Denzel, too.
They'll tell Bowie Jane, and she'll be like, "Who's Jared and Sari?" You know what I mean? Right. So I just don't. It's interesting twists. I don't think it's going to be that dramatic shock. But I think that's it. We'll do a quick showman's watch. Jared and Blue, I just wasn't interested in them at all. If there are updates that happened from them this week, all we got from them is Jared saying, "If you tell my secret, I'm never talking to you again."
Which is absurd
and manipulative, like you said.
Absurd.
We got him telling people that Jared and Blue are Jared and Blue. It's who cares. And then AmeriCorey happened. They were a little rocky this week.
They were pretty cute though. They had a segment on the show tonight that was cute.
Right.
Where she's like, he's a little bit of a fixer-upper, which, I mean, I don't really like that term, but it was cute.
Yeah, and then...
And he talked about it, too. He was like, I'm doing all this stuff for her that I wouldn't normally do. He's growing a mustache.
He's trying to grow a
mustache. We'll see how that goes.
But he said he liked it, so that's all that matters. But, yeah. I mean, on the feeds, they did have some rough nights. She likes to cuddle through the night. He says, I'm going to go sleep in my own bed, which, hey, man, do that as long as you can. Once you get married, you just get kneed in the back for the rest of your life. And then,
okay, valid.
And then, what is it? And then also she felt like sometimes he wasn't sharing game intel with her all the time, which she got upset about a little bit and led to some disagreements. But there's still AmeriCorey.
Which he's not. I mean, he's not giving her everything.
But I used to think it was because he was cunning, but he's just not that smart as he thought he was.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a bad way, but the game takes a lot of like things that he's just not putting together quite yet. And you know, it's one of those things you don't know. One of us might go on the show and realize, oh snap, we're just as we're dumber than anyone we've ever said didn't get the show. You know what I'm saying? Right. So who knows? Okay, so let's wrap it up. Our alliance this week. What does that mean on the People's Rose? We're talking about who we're rooting for, who we're rooting against in the game, best game, who's playing it, and then who's playing the worst game. We'll start with you. Who are you rooting for as of right now?
I'm rooting for Corey in America.
Okay.
AmeriCorey. I said earlier I want to see Sari and Izzy on the block. I actually want to see Jared and Blue.
Okay.
I actually think we should get Jared and Blue.
And if he's looking for revenge, Jared's the one that put Red up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's who I'm rooting against.
Mm-hmm.
And who I think is playing the best game has gotta be Sari. I mean, she's running everything,
mm-hmm.
and I don't even feel like she's on anybody's radar.
Right.
Probably because she's not winning.
Right.
But I don't know. I say that I feel like Mimi has a lot of potential. I feel like she's playing a good game too because she's not doing too much.
Mm-hmm.
But she did almost win the pressure cooker.
Yep.
So I think she's gonna be good at comps.
Yep.
But yeah.
And then who do you think is playing the worst game?
Oh gosh. Matt. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. Well, I kind of do think that.
Interesting. Yeah, he did just use...
Or actually probably Jared. Jared is running around just crazy, trying to play everybody and just saying stupid stuff.
Right.
Because remember how there was that whole debacle about him, Jag figuring out that Sari had told Jared about Matt's power, and Jared came to Jag and was like,
yeah.
You're gonna be safe tonight. And then Jag was like, why did Sari tell Jared?
Oh,
and then Jared tried to turn it around on Jag, like, why are you telling people what I told you in confidence? When it's like, no, Jared, like, you should have never opened your mouth to him to begin with.
Right. If they were playing with actually, like, observant players, I think Jared's game would be toast.
I say Jared's playing the worst game, but he has won.
Yeah, but
so I'm kind of
they sent Heisem home for winning too much.
And actually, Matt did win the special power. I think Jared. I'm going with Jared. Jared's playing the worst game.
Okay. All right. I would say I'm rooting for America. God bless America. player in BB25. Let's see. For all the reasons I've said before, I think she's got a good sense of what's going on. She knows that Sari is the Infelicia in charge. She just can't rally the troops to get behind them because everyone is so under the spell, including her man. So it's hard to say that the game is going to stack up in the right direction for her. I think her best hope is, oh man, we didn't talk about this. If we were only playing the game, a good move would be to try to gain some influence with Cameron, who's HOH this week. And we didn't get to see this ourselves on the feeds, but people who watched the feeds and updated and we read, there was a lot of contention between Cameron and America. And she spoke of how uncomfortable Cameron made her and comments that he made to her, things of that nature. So even though it makes sense to try to add Cameron in that house to go and add Cameron as part of a coalition to take down the head of the snake of those two alliances, which is Sari. I don't know if she feels comfortable working with Cameron, but we'll continue with that as we see. Rooting against. I would say I am at this point rooting against. I can't say there's anyone in the house I strongly am like, I don't want them to win, but maybe Blue. I don't think she, I would not want her to win the season. So far, I can't think of anything that I think would make her get my vote if I were in the game. Who's playing the best game? Easy, Sari. It'll be, now she's up, she's kind of on the hot seat this week. We'll see how she navigates it this week and if she can get past this week unscathed by Cameron's HOH. And if she can, I would start to say she's kind of got it in the bag to at least make it to finale night. And then worst game, I'm going to also say that this is Blue again. Your best friend is Jag, apparently, and you volunteered to put him on the block as a pawn.
Yeah,
that's just one of the dumbest things you can do. And Big Brother, she's in an alliance, she's in a showmance with Jared, but she's telling people that that works with Jared, that she would send Jared home, which is giving them reason not to trust her. She is not. I just think she's playing the worst game. And I'm also rooting for her not to win because I don't think her game is deserving of it.
Agreed.
So that was Big Brother. We've got more to talk about coming up on Brooke's Buzz, which we're excited about. So keep it tuned. Keep it tuned. This is a podcast. Don't press pause. You don't have to keep it tuned. Just continue to let the stream hit your receiver. It's now time for... It's time for Brooke's Buzz.
All right. I actually have a lot today, so let me just jump right in. So, first up, coming out of Bachelor Nation, we have Serena and Joe are married.
That was a nice wedding. I saw the pictures.
They are a fan favorite of mine.
What?
Yes.
Okay, continue.
You didn't know?
I didn't know. I didn't think you liked Grocery Store Joe, but okay.
What?
Okay.
I love Grocery Store Joe. I didn't like Kendall. So therefore, right. I did not like when him and Kendall were together.
Okay, fair
Good
enough.
riddance to her.
Fair enough.
But once him and Serena got together, and their love felt so real to me.
Right.
So yeah, I'm just so happy for them.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're married. Yes, it was beautiful. Everything was great. From what we saw, right?
Right. It was great. We did talk about this. It was a little less expensive, apparently, than Dylan and Hannah's Parisian wedding. No, I don't care.
See, I didn't even bring them up because they're married too, but I didn't even bring them up because I'm just like hair flipped to them.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. But they did also get married and had a very expensive Parisian wedding.
Right.
And we saw, a TikTok? Or no, that was Reddit.
There was tons of it. Was coverage on everything. It was on all the websites.
It was almost $1 million wedding. It probably was $1 million wedding.
We don't know.
Well, whatever. I mean, congrats.
Yeah.
But Serena and Joe, may your love last forever. All right. We're gonna go to Kardashian news now. Oh, I'm sorry, Kardashian Jenner news now. Kylie and Timothy Chalamet were kissing at the Beyonce concert in LA.
Yeah.
I was still a skeptic. I was like, yo, they are not together. This is no. But, I mean, how can you deny it after you see the photos?
Right.
I mean, there's some sort of situationship going on.
Well, if you believe the conspiracy theorists, Timothy is still under contract with Chris, who's orchestrated this whole... I don't. I'm just,
Oh, my gosh. What? Because they're trying to, get her image back?
Yeah, trying to distance herself from,
Travis Scott and his... Okay. Well, I mean, hey, I wouldn't put it past Chris, and I actually wouldn't put it past Kylie either. So maybe that's the case, but regardless, they're kissing in public.
Yeah, but, whatever it is, it was the Beyonce show, so you got to give them... when you're at the Beyonce show, that's very romantic. The LA show looks really cool.
Yeah, dude.
A lot of stars are there.
Who else was at that show?
Who?
Julie Chen Moonves. Give me one more reason to like her. Yeah, she was at the Beyonce con in her silver, as requested by B herself.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Yes. Okay. Also, Kourtney Kardashian. This is a little more serious. She had an issue that required fetal surgery. So basically surgery for her baby inside of her. And that is very scary. Yeah. And very rare. I don't think that happens a lot.
Yeah, we don't know. Do you know, really, has she given details outside of needing fetal surgery? What had happened?
Not really, no. But she said it saved her baby's life.
Right.
So, I don't know. It's probably too soon for her to have the baby, and so they needed to do this instead of the baby being born. So, yeah, I hope that I hope her pregnancy continues to progress and the baby is healthy and comes out.
What a blessing that was
strong.
It was really good they were able to the doctors were able to solve whatever the issue was. I saw Travis, is that her guy's name? When he posted just a picture of the prayer room, and it was kind of like they didn't really no one knew what was going on at that point.
Yeah,
right?
So basically he was on tour and they put out a statement and was like he has to go home for a urgent family matter. So everybody assumed it was because of Kourtney and the baby, and then turns out it was. Right. So we'll see. Hopefully everything continues to go in the right direction with that. Yeah. All right. We gotta move to TLC, and I have so much to say. I'm gonna try to not go overboard.
Let it rip. We don't have a second show
here's the deal
on the podcast today. It's just Big Brother, so you got time.
Okay. So here's the deal. I decided to go back. Okay, so now that all of TLC shows are on Max, I have decided to go back and rewatch them because I get really overwhelmed with the 2-hour episodes on the cable. So now I can just watch them and they're an hour and 30, no commercials, the whole season's there. It's just a better way to watch 90 Day Fiancé. Right. So I have gone back and I caught up. I watched the most recent season of OG 90 Day Fiancé. Okay, there's like a million branches now. Right. But I watched the OG 90 Day Fiancé most recent season.
Right. Now when you say OG 90 Day Fiancé, do you mean the original 90 Day Fiancé, or is there a version of the show called OG 90 Day Fiancé?
I mean the original version.
Because there's Teen Mom OG, is there not?
Okay, no, we're not talking about that. There's not one actually called OG, but it is the original show 90 Day Fiancé. Okay. And when I say that, I'll explain. It's like someone is coming to the United States on a K9 visa, meaning they are coming here and they have
a K1 visa.
Oh, K1?
Yeah, K9 visa. I think
K9's for a dog.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. a K1 visa,
right?
Where they are coming here and they have 90 days to get married to stay in the country legally, right? So that's the setup, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so most recent season. Where do I even begin? Okay, we have several couples. Most notably, we have Jabri and Miona. Jabri is from South Dakota, but he's like alternative. Like he's like not like South Dakota is not him. Okay. That's what he said.
No, you're right. I know.
And Miona is from Serbia. Okay. Right? Well, Jabri also had this friend who was Serbian, and that's how he even got to Serbia to begin with. Mm-hmm. And so they toured, and I'm kind of laughing because it wasn't like, they were like the Beatles, but there's some similarities.
Their band was about as had much notoriety as our podcast does.
I mean, if you want to put it that way. But they traveled to Serbia, and that's where he met his now wife, Miona, right? So, she comes over here. Supposedly, the band didn't like her, and so they, ended up breaking up.
She Yoko Ono of the band, right?
Right. Yeah. So, so Jabri and Miona. Okay. I thought, there were a couple things during the season that I was kind of just like, I liked them. I liked Jabri. I liked Miona. Miona was coming over here. She did seem to be...
She was blackfishing.
Oh, yeah. That is true.
Okay, but what else?
But she did seem to be a little bit, wanting this, I think what people envision as the American lifestyle, wanting to live in LA and be seen and be with the people and, maybe have an Instagram career, be an influencer.
Right. Post on Instagram.
And so, that she wasn't getting that in South Dakota, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So she was her big thing was I want to move to LA. And his thing was we don't have money. My band's not together. I'm not making money. We need to stay here. And so I kind of was oh, he's level-headed, mm-hmm. He's okay. Whatever. Well, towards the end of the season, when it comes time for them to get married, the 90 days is running up. They go have this wedding in Joshua Tree. Mm-hmm. None of his parents don't come. Her family doesn't come. Right. They're oh, we'll do something big later. But his parents actually didn't come because they weren't fully supportive.
Right.
And they were we can't really travel to Joshua Tree. That's very far from South Dakota. I looked it up. I think it was 19 hours.
Yeah.
So it's you have to fly and it takes money and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So, okay. So they get married in Joshua Tree. It's basically him, her, one friend, and his grandma who did the ceremony. Mm-hmm. Well, on the reunion, for some unknown reason, I don't know.
The reunion episode of the show.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can't explain it, but he came in so hot and hostile to every single person in there. And I don't know where it came from.
Right, yeah.
I was who is this guy?
Yeah.
He was jumping all over. Okay, so basically the moderator said, why do you think no one came to your wedding? Which is pretty shady. Right. So I think that set him off, and he was well, I think they're just all jealous of me, which is kind of just okay. And then one of the girls said, yeah, your mom did kind of seem jealous. And then he got so mad. I think it was...
Even though he said they were jealous.
Yeah, but I think it was one of those things where it's well, I can call my mom jealous, but you can't call my mom jealous, exactly. Right?
Exactly.
So then he was you're the most jealous person in this room. And she was just kind of okay, why are you coming at name.
Right.
So then he just like proceeded to attack and attack and attack.
Yeah.
And then, oh my gosh, there's this other couple who, when the girl moved from Brazil, Thais, and forgive me, I can't remember the guy's name.
Okay.
But when Thais moved to America from Brazil, his brother was living with them, and
Right.
she was like so put out by the brother.
Right.
Like she's like, he needs to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Which he was kind of brash. He was kind of confrontational.
Just like your typical Boston, Massachusetts, New England guy.
But I never saw him or thought of him as rude.
Okay.
So, but, and he drank a lot. And she
Yeah.
had issues with that. He liked to party.
Yeah.
Okay. As soon as this brother comes out, Jabri, because, you know, they bring out guests on the reunion.
Right.
Jabri is like, "What's up, man? How many beers have you had today? Are you drunk right now?"
Right.
Before the guy even said a word.
Right.
And of course, this guy was like, "You're saying that to me? Like you're trying to fight me?"
Right.
So that escalated. But then everybody was kind of like, "Jabri, what's your beef?"
Right.
And so then he gets on this soapbox of like, he's bullying her, and that is not okay because I was bullied my whole life in South Dakota.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, when?
Yeah.
When did he bully her? I mean,
Yeah.
he might have been bullied in South Dakota. I'm just saying, from what I saw on the show, it didn't look to me like John was bullying her.
Yeah.
Maybe he was confrontational, maybe he was brash. He was worried about his brother because this girl came over here on a K-1 visa, 90 days to get married, did not tell her father she was getting married.
Right.
So he was worried about how that was going to make his brother look. I think that's valid.
Right.
I think that's a valid concern.
No, you're right.
I don't think he ever was like out of line with her.
Okay.
So that's my take on that.
Okay. Now,
and another thing, though,
Okay.
is that Jabri then proceeded to... Okay, so there's this other couple. They're Muslim. They're a Muslim couple. They're very devout, and I think they genuinely try to live their life in a very like moralistic way, I guess I'll say.
adherence to Islam.
Yeah. And so this man, his name is Bilal. Bilal, before like Jabri had blown up, and they showed this little side of Bilal talking to Jabri and being like, "Bro, like, don't let people get the best of you. Like, it's gonna be okay. Like, don't let them get to you."
Right.
Very sweet. And Jabri
said this.
No, Bilal said that to Jabri.
Yeah.
And Jabri was like kind about, Jabri was like, "Thanks, man. Yeah."
Right.
And then, like, later in the show, Jabri proceeded to be like, "Yeah, y'all aren't gonna last, and y'all aren't gonna last." And one of those couples being Bilal and Shida.
Right.
And you're just kind of like, what? Where is that hostility coming from? Nobody asked your opinion. Nobody asked, who do y'all think here is gonna last or not last? Now, have they asked that on reunion shows before? Yeah. Sure.
Right.
But nobody asked that.
Right.
He was just coming in hot.
Yeah.
For really no reason.
Right. Okay. Well, I also caught the tail end of your binge watch of that. And here's what happened. Listeners, I'm going to break this down. If you've never watched 90 Day.
Okay, break it down for me.
And it'll be quick. 90 Day Fiancé is one of, I believe, it's 20,000 shows, 20 versions of the show. And there's 90 Day the other way, 90 Day UK, 90 Day Last Resort, 90 Day Recap, 90 Day Recap of the recap. And what I mean by that is if you're one of the couples on 90 Days, sometimes they have you sit at your house and recap the show that they just aired. Oh my gosh,
yeah, Pillow Talk,
90 Day Pillow Talk. So what Jabri was doing was just auditioning to continue to be a part of the 90 Day universe. You know, he didn't want his story and him and Miona to just drift off the scene. He wanted, I'm sure, to be one of these people that they call on time and time and again to get updates on their life or to come and react to the show. Like while you were watching the reunion, they literally had previous, previous.
Oh yeah, people from the franchise.
Yeah. in like literally just like I guess off stage and backstage. They didn't even like set
they
them
were
up
just like giving their commentary.
They just put them in chairs by craft services, and just said, "Hey, comment on what just happened," and then go run in the hallways and try to track down these people and kind of awkwardly talk to them.
Right.
So that's all I think Jabri was doing.
I mean, you're probably right.
And wanted to be a personality to continue to be on this show because he does. I mean, now I'm sure he's made more money on this show than he had doing his other ventures. So why not continue that?
True, but I also followed up and watched. Well, I tried to get into it, but I couldn't really get into it because there's another one called Happily Ever After.
90 Day Happy Ever
and
After.
These are the ones that, like, I guess people that they liked from the franchise that they then proceed to continue to show their life.
Right.
Miona and Jabri were not featured. So, yeah, Bilal and Shida were, though.
Yeah, but...
Yeah. Well, okay, another thing, too, is they were like, Jabri, when's the last time you saw your parents? Because, they were living with them.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, when they kicked me out and we went to Joshua Tree, I haven't been back since. And we're just, like, living that nomad life. Which is code for, like, you're homeless.
Well, yeah, just moving around. I thought about that, too.
Yeah.
It might be hard for production to keep up with them if they've been down, but...
But I've looked at Miona's Instagram, and they appear to be living in LA, and she appears to be making a ton of money from her clip-on ponytails.
She had a lot of followers. Her business seems to be doing well.
Yeah. So, hey, maybe that's working out for them.
Yeah.
I will say this. There are 3 main franchises.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, 3 main branches. That's 90 Day Fiancé, Before the 90 Days,
mm-hmm.
and 90 Days the Other Way.
Right.
So they're going to live in the other country that's not the USA. Right now, premiering is 90 Day the Other Way and
The Last Resort.
Before the 90 Days.
And Last Resort.
And Last Resort, but this is the first season of Last Resort.
Well, you said premiering, so that's what I thought you meant.
Yeah.
Premiering means like the startup, right?
Well, no. I meant premiering, like showing new episodes.
Okay.
But I guess if we want to say premiering first season,
right.
90 Day Resort.
Right.
So now I'm trying to get caught up and be on week to week
mm-hmm. with
90 Days the Other Way, Last Resort, and what's the other one I said? Before the 90 Days.
So basically,
before
we can
the 90 days.
A full rundown of 90 days on Brooke's Buzz.
I mean, at this point, yeah, because it's just my thing right now, It's just what I'm getting into. Now, I also have to talk about 90 Day Last Resort because just real quick, I'll just say real quick, Asuelo is...
Asuelo? Yeah.
Asuelo is really throwing me for a loop. Okay, he has disclosed cheating on Kehlani. He has talked about some traditions they have in Samoa, which have really just thrown me. And it just keeps you on your toes. And then Ed, I don't even know. All I have to say is Ed.
Well, let's back up. No, Kehlani also is. I mean, she has equal responsibility in the deterioration of their relationship, wouldn't you say?
Well, yeah. I mean, basically, Asuelo cheated and then said, well, to make up for it, I'll give you a hall pass.
Right.
And she said, okay. He didn't think she would do it. She did it. Okay. Yeah. And she enjoyed it. So she says.
More so than that, she's having an affair.
Well, yeah. I mean, he had an affair, too.
I'm just saying. Yeah.
But if you want to say, like, an extended, longer term, sure. So, it's a big mess.
Yeah.
And we already know they're not together anymore.
Yeah, because it's recorded in the past.
Right.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's crazy. But Ed, I'm sorry, but his personality to me is, like, insufferable.
Right.
If I was there with Ed, I just know he would be getting under my skin.
Right.
I don't even know how to describe it. And I'm kind of just like, with this girl, what do you, I don't understand. But another one of the girls, Yara, this is going back to Happily Ever After in the tell-all. Yara said, what attracts you to him?
Right.
And she couldn't really answer. There was like, I mean, they had just gotten into a fight, but she said like, well, he helps with my kid. He's really good with my kid. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's important. Yeah. That's important. So, maybe it's not all bad, but from what I see, I just...
Well, I think a part of it that people don't really say, but is valid, I think, when people date. From A-list celebrities all the way down to Z celebrities, like these 90 Day Fiancé people. He's on TV as well. And now subsequently she's on TV. Yeah. Which is part of it. I mean, she knew who he was before she met him because she watched him on TV. Yeah. Half of these people that end up dating these people and you're like, what? And I'm not talking about the people who come on originally, but after they've been on the franchise and stick around to pick someone else.
True.
Who's not even in a, coming from another country situation. They're just in the franchise like Ed and his girl are.
True.
He's famous. And I don't, even if it's subconscious, I think that plays a part.
You're probably right. Okay. Last but not least, we have Sister Wives. Okay. The new season.
This is also on Max?
Yes.
Oh gosh.
Let me just take a breather because Cody Brown. Cody.
He's the husband on Sister Wives.
I don't even know.
Or I guess he doesn't have, he just has one wife now.
Well, right? Now he only has one wife, but tell me why a man who has, 20 kids, I don't know how many he has, but several, more in the teens for sure, is driving around wherever Flagstaff, New Mexico, in a little convertible sports car.
Flagstaff in New Mexico?
Going from house to house, like without a care in the world. Hair, his ramen noodle hair flapping in the wind.
Okay.
When he has 20 kids. I'm sorry, sir. You need to be in a minivan. You need to be in a 16-passenger van. And you need to be toting your kids around and not just gallivanting in your little convertible. I don't know where this man's mind is. Yeah. It baffles me. Mm-hmm. He's a hard man to understand.
I don't think that even is that outlandish. I think tons of guys. Why is it different than a guy with 5 kids and one wife who buys a sports car when they're still raising kids? I hear what you're saying, but I don't think that's that outlandish. I don't think it's any more right. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to stick up for him, but it's not like he's the only American male who, instead of, hey, I'm going to go drive a van, a passenger van, elects to go get his dream car when he can afford it. Am I wrong?
I mean, I guess you're right. I don't know. We're down to, we haven't, in the show, we still have Mary, Robin, and Christine holding on. But in the most recent episode, him and Christine went to total blows. Mm-hmm. And she basically was like
throwing hands or just verbally? You said the blows.
Well, he got up to leave and she did try to grab him, but he just still left. She's
just saying it got heated.
Verbally, yeah. And
I didn't even know the show was airing, but go ahead.
Yeah, and she was like, I told him to come get his stuff. Like,
this is the wife that he currently has?
No, I said there were 3 left at this point in the show. Mary, Robin, and Christine.
Wait, this is airing right now? Yeah. Or are you watching back?
Yeah, this is airing right now.
Okay.
Yeah. And Christine, they got into it. Mm-hmm. and she's like told him to come get his stuff. And mind you, when this is happening, it's like at Christmas time.
Right.
So he's like, yeah, and they're like, yeah, I don't think we'll see each other for Christmas.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, I think we're just gonna see the ending of it all.
Wait.
What?
It can't be of it all. You mean of the marriages with those extra wives?
Yeah, you thought I meant like of the world.
You said it like, I think that's the ending of it all. I was like, okay, that's a little dramatic.
I just mean of the marriages. I'm sorry.
Which is, pretty catastrophic. Hey, listen. Well, he took on that. He took on a lot by doing that. So sometimes I don't even know what to say. But okay. Well, okay. So what else?
I think that's it.
Okay.
We can wrap it up.
That was Brooke's buzz, but that was almost the the scoop right there.
TLC scoop.
We really went deep into the woods of Max. I guess we should just write David Zaslav for our checks. This is like exactly what he wanted when Discovery bought HBO.
Yeah.
And turned it into the reality TV Central.
Working out really well for him.
So now, yeah, good for them. Down with Zaslav is all I have to say. We wrapped up Brooke's buzz, but we still got some other reality shows we're gonna talk about before we head out of here. They announced Love Is Blind season 5. I actually don't know when they announced it, but they released the cast.
And they're in Houston.
Right. If you don't know, we actually are from Houston, like I was saying. And so we're really excited about them filming all of these desperate, lonely 30-plus people who would sign up for this show.
Some shade.
You're right. I love Love Is Blind, but I'm always a little wary of the people that sign up for this show. And if they're trying to find love, which I take that back. There's some great couples that are coming to the show.
Like where is this hostility coming from?
A lot of
Jabri?
a lot of these couples that are on this show are desperate for fame or desperate for just.
I think on any reality TV dating show, right?
Honestly, you're right.
Yeah.
And you're right. You're right. Okay, so filming in Houston, we're going to be familiar with the landmarks, hopefully. Mm-hmm. Maybe you'll see us walking around in the background.
That's our dream. That's our fever dream. One day, we just happen to be where they are filming.
Like, oh, is this... Are you guys... And they're from Houston, so a lot of these people are from Houston, the greater Houston area. So we were really hoping that we would know someone or like be friends of friends with someone who was cast on the show, but that's not the case. It's Houston, so we possibly know someone who might know
right.
Who knows. But that's not really like knowing someone on the show. Like, oh, I've seen them before.
Right.
I went to school with them. I worked. It's not that. So unfortunately, we're not that close to the action.
Right.
But we are pumped. We do like Love Is Blind a lot. We'll talk about it on the show. I don't know if it'll just be a quick thing we do because we'll just have to see how it fits in the schedule. There's so much going on with that show.
It probably won't be until after the pods.
No, we'll talk about it during the pods. You don't think so? But you're saying the time that we really talk.
I'm saying it probably won't be a lot of content to talk about until after the pods.
I don't know.
Okay, you're right.
We'll figure it out. But we're excited about that, and that's coming up. Just looking through, we got a diverse cast. It's just going to be exciting. We got a diverse cast. We don't really know much about them except their ages and occupations. So as soon as we find out more, we will address it. And is there anything other shows happen? I feel like we were talking about one more show, or we got news from something else. Did I forget?
Project Runway. We're up to final 3.
Yes, we are on the final 3.
We know who's going to Fashion Week.
Yeah, we got Brittany Lawrence and Bishme. Which I think, for more or less, were the best 3.
Yeah, in years past, they've let 4 go.
Right.
I wish they would have done that.
No, I don't. Project, he was one of the final 4.
No,
it was Rami.
Rami.
You're right. Oh, you're right. Rami was good. I would have liked to seen his. what he sent down the runway for
I
40
feel
plus women who are getting married, but that would have been really cool.
Stop.
I like Rami.
I feel like Rami was just very humble and very, I don't know, gentle and peaceful.
Yeah.
I liked that.
Yeah, he was really good. He was a really great guy. And you're right. He was, what's the word? Like, is there a word? Well, anyways, you said it. We've described him greatly a lot. Oh, I don't know if he'll be around on the franchise much more, but it was good to see him again. Mm-hmm. And I think that's all that we've got. I can't think of any, amongst all the reality TV we watch and talk about, I think we've covered everything we're going to cover this week.
Wait, I misspoke. It wasn't Christine who was having the fight with Cody. It was Janelle. Christine is gone. Christine is already out.
Okay.
It's Janelle, Mary, and Robin. And Janelle was having the fight with him.
If he's forgotten all his lives,
just had to
remember me.
I had to correct that. I'm sorry. That is my bad.
Yeah, that's the kind of journalistic integrity you can expect from the People's Rose. We get a name wrong, we correct it.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, we covered it all this week. If there's anything we missed, let us know. You can interact with us on social media, on whatever social media site you use, at The People's Rose. You can listen to our podcast at thepeoplesrose.com. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever you listen to. We're there. If you like the podcast, we hope that you just rate and review us on whatever podcast app you use.
And tell all your friends.
You don't have to tell all your friends, but just the cool ones.
Okay.
Just the ones who are ready for the podcast.
Sure.
But no, we just appreciate you for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.